Are you taking the 2016 or the 2025 retro? I'm gonna break down every single element of these two retros for you guys so you can see the changes they've made over the past 10 years. So first things first, we're gonna take a look at the boxes because this is very important. There have been some changes over the years as well. Looking at the top of the lid, you'll notice everything is pretty similar to your OG style Air Jordan 4 box back from 1989. You got your red Jumpman with your white flight text just below that with the all black lid. And on the bottom half of these boxes, you're gonna see the cement gray with the speckle all throughout. And then taking a look at the size tags on the front end, definitely some big differences here, just simply on the overall look and presentation of the label. You have your red Nike Air here on the 2025 and the Jumpman with the Air on the 2016 lid. Now to most people, they may think this is not that important, but to sneakerheads, this is huge simply because this is the OG style and OG look when it comes to the 2025 version. And saying that the 2016 pair has the Nike Air on the back tab, which is a huge thing for collectors, you would think that they would put the Nike Air on the lid as well, resembling that OG style. Now before we get too deep into the shoes, you know we gotta go over the history first. Back in 1989, there were 4 original colorways that hit the court in the streets, and still I have never seen Michael Jordan wear the military blue 4s. We'll talk about that in another video. But either way, MJ had an amazing season on the court, and obviously off the court, the sneaker did its thing as well. With his collaborations with Spike Lee with the Air Jordan 3s, and then coming into the Air Jordan 4s in '89, and then seeing the shoes featured in the movie Do the Right Thing, this sneaker easily became an icon and has been in high demand ever since. We have seen hundreds of colorways and iterations of Air Jordan 4s in particular, and when it comes to Air Jordan 4 white cements, we saw the original in 1989, the retro in 1999, the fusion in 2009. Then we had the 2012 retro with a Jumpman on the back, and shortly after that in 2016 we then saw the remastered series where Jordan Brand decided, hey, we're getting too far away from our original models and colors and we need to get back to our OG standards when it comes to the cuts, the materials, and overall presentations of the shoe. So they featured the Nike Air on the 2016 pair and everybody went crazy. After that we had a retro iteration in a golf version which also featured a Jumpman on the back. Now in 2025 we had the recently released Nike Air pair again. So overall there are essentially 4 white cement Air Jordan 4s that have Nike Air on them, and these are the 2 most recent wearable and obtainable pairs that have released over the past 10 years. The 1999 pair will always be a grail, but essentially it's no longer wearable for anybody unless you do a sole swap and a replacement on that. But that shoe in particular was definitely the standard and still held at a high level from a lot of collectors or overall just sneaker enthusiasts. Oh yeah, and if you didn't know by now, my name is DJ and this is the DNA Show. So now that you guys have seen the differences between the boxes, let's go ahead and go over all the details, the ins and outs of every single aspect of the shoe. And we're gonna start with the outsole first. So looking at the 2016 pair, you'll notice you'll have that same color blocking in style like the original from 1989, with the gray on the back end and the front end, the black in the center, and then the red hits around the ball of the foot and at the Nike branding with the swoosh. Now looking at the 2025 version, you'll notice it has the same exact color pattern, but when you put the 2 outsoles side by side, you'll notice that the grays are actually just slightly different, and I might even say the red is just a little bit different as well when it comes to the shade. So for example, the 2025 version, the gray, I would say it has more of a warm tone to it, and the 2016 has more of a cool undertone to it. And speaking of the undertones, if you notice when we wrap up to the midsole, the colors on the grays here are a lot more identifiable. The gray tones on these 2 midsoles are clearly different. You'll notice that there's a black speckle all throughout both of these areas. Some say that there's more on the 2016 compared to the 2025, and even looking at the inside of the foot right here, honestly it looks pretty similar on the black speckle. Again, some people's pair might be more than the other, but overall I would say when it comes to the black speckle, they're pretty close. Now these both come equipped with the exposed white air unit on the back end, and then wrapping up to the front end and around the toe area, you'll notice you have that black rubber here and then that gray rubber like we saw earlier with the stars. Now when it comes to the upper materials on these 2 shoes, this is where the great debate lies, and I'm excited to see the poll results later because a lot of people have still been raving about the 2016 pair, but again, people are also hyped up about the 25 pair, saying that they did a better job on the quality of leather overall. So it's kind of how you interpret quality of leather when it comes to sneakers like this. Essentially on the 2025 version, you're gonna have a thick cut, smooth leather that's actually a leather. And then on the 2016 version, you'll notice it's a thinner cut leather as well, and it has a tumble to it, and people like this and also associate this with more of a premium vibe when it comes to the feel and look look at the shoe. So that's going to be something that you have to decide down below, but I can tell you right now, even with the images that you guys see with these side by side, they are clearly different when it comes to the materials. But overall, at the end of the day, still two white leather shoes. The next thing that is hugely distinctive and obviously everybody's excited, well, at least I think most people are excited about, is the actual shape of the two shoes. So like we talked about earlier, at the beginning of the new 2016 time, and they're revisiting, they're remastering, all those different words they wanted to use, that was during this time. And we started to see the Jordan 4 get back into its OG way a little bit. But then over these past 10 years now, we've seen tweak after tweak, refinement after refinement. And the military blue and the white cement Air Jordan 4 in particular are literally two of the greatest, best retros of all time right now. If you're talking about the straight up category of the shape and overall mold and look compared to the original from 1989. So from that standpoint alone, the 2025 are blowing the 2016 out the water. Zero debate, zero competition. There's no way you could even tell me that the 2016 is better when it comes to the shape. So you'll notice on the side panels here and around the mudguard area, going up around the toe, that you're gonna have a higher cut leather around this area. And even on the side right here, you'll see just below the arms that you have this double stitch. That is pretty much similar, but there's a bigger gap on the 2025 pair compared to the 2016 pair. And then also looking at the cut around the back end, you'll see that you have a lower cut here on the 2016 pair and a higher cut here on the 2025 pair just below the back tab. Another big thing that you'll notice when it comes to these two shoes is the actual toe and the vamp area. You have your little widow's peak, your little nipple, whatever you'd like to call it. That's on the 2025 pair, which is going to be similar to the OG. And the 2016 pair doesn't have that. It's just a smooth finish all throughout. Now, another thing that I thought was very dope to see, and honestly, it's been amazing to just realize this after we compared these versions over the years and seeing the different elements and how they made these small tweaks. And that's actually the front end around the mesh as well on the toe as it wraps up. So you have this little double stitch right here, just about 3 or 4 stitches, boom, boom. That's going to be the same thing here with that stitch liner going up. But if you actually look at this double stitch here, you'll notice it's more straight and this is more curved because they changed the cut back to the original cut and style. And obviously with those side-by-side images, very distinctive and easy to tell. Now, when it comes to the black eye stays on both of these shoes, everything essentially the same there. I don't think we have too much to complain about on that aspect. And then the white laces here, same thing, flat white laces, standard to the Air Jordan 4. No additional laces on either one of these shoes. So you have that white mesh and the white net. So the 2025 pair, it has that same, you know, square look to it, but it's more rounded on the edges and more bubbly, if that makes any sense. And if you look at the 2016 pair, you'll notice that it's kind of more straight line, flat, and more tubular. And it also has what I like to always say, the little nipples on there essentially, on every single intersection throughout the entire net on both the tongue and the side panels of the shoe. Both of these sneakers feature the diagonal pattern, which again was getting back to that OG style, something that we all appreciated. So that's definitely one thing I'm happy to see on both sneakers. Hey, real quick, just wanted to let you guys know we're getting very close to 400,000 subscribers. So I need you to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this video and you see any value from it. And when we hit that 400K milestone, you know we're doing a big giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Let's keep going on with the video. Now, looking at the tongue on both of these shoes, these are going to be again 2 drastic changes that have been improved over the years. We saw this on the Air Jordan 3 and on the Air Jordan 4. This was coming around the 2020 time when they started to make more tweaks toward the Air Jordan 4 and they started to tuck the leather back and not show the material from the back end that's exposed to the front end like you see on here. Notice if you're looking at these, you can see that black right here throughout the front. And then if you're looking at these, it's just a white leather and you can't see the black. This is more similar to the original style from back in the day. And again, something that a lot of sneakerheads appreciate. Now, when you look at the tags on the tongues and the actual materials on these two tongues, honestly, they're kind of similar. I know that the leather is different on the front end and all throughout the rest of the shoe, but the overall tongue material, I would say they're pretty similar on that aspect, just looking at the leathers. And then the classic Air Jordan 4 tongue tag, like we always see, that's gonna be pretty similar as well when it comes to the overall presentation. But if you look really close, you'll actually notice there's a lot of slight differences between these tongue tags. For example, the overall stitching on the 2016 pair is a lot more gridded, and I don't know if you want to say pixelated, for example. You could see more texture in it essentially. And if you look at the tongue tag on the 2025 pair, you'll notice that it's a lot more smooth and it kind of looks more silky. Now, one thing that people did like and appreciate about the 2016 pair compared to the 2025 pair is you can't actually see through it that much. And because of that, if you look at the 2025 pair, you'll notice it kind of has that red border around it as the material is flipped back and everything and more exposed. I think that's also supposed to be more similar to the original back then, but then again, that's something that people don't like now. So you kind of have like a slight upgrade when it comes to the overall Jumpman logo and branding, but then the actual white patch on the shoe is a slight downgrade in some sneakerheads' opinion. Also, if you notice on the Jumpman, you'll see that there's a little bit more of a cut behind Jordan's head right here on the 2016 pair compared to the 2025 pair. And I feel like overall, the 2025 pair's Jumpman is just slightly bigger than the 2016 pair. Also, before we take it to the next parts of the shoe, if you notice the actual height of the tongue, the 2016 pair is a little bit lower of a cut on the height overall. And that's also something that people love or don't love about the Jordan 4s and 3s, depending on the tongue height and length, which is also a big preference thing at the end of the day. Today's partner is Sneaker Throne. They have multiple options when it comes to durable and high quality display cases. One of my personal favorites is the drop side display case. I'm a size 13 and I can easily fit my shoes inside of here, and I have hundreds of these stacked throughout my rooms to display my sneakers. When it comes to the cases in particular, you have 4 different color options: clear, black, white, and red. So if you're looking at grabbing one of these for yourself or for someone else, make sure you guys check out sneakerthrone.com, and don't forget to use the discount code DNA Show at checkout for 10% off for all your orders. Now looking at the back end of the tongue right here on the 25 pair, you'll notice again all black material. You have your white Air Jordan patch with the red text, and then the same thing here on the 2016 pair, but you'll notice again less real estate at the top end because this tongue is a little bit taller. But one thing that I could say is on the 2016 pair, the red text is a little bit more vibrant and a little bit thicker compared to the 2025 pair. Now these both come standard with all white collars throughout this area. The materials are essentially similar. I would say if anything, the 2025 pair is a little bit more hairy and the 2016 pair is a little bit more clean cut. Now here comes a huge moment of truth: the insoles. The 2016 pair has the cheapest quality insole, the worst one, the one that everybody hates and we all love to talk about. This is that one. In the 2025 pair, they've taken their notes, they've made their adjustments, and they've essentially given us a polyurethane insole here. Very nice, very clean, and a lot more comfortable. This has been a big debate for a lot of sneakerheads saying, hey, give us the highest quality insoles, at least on the original colorways, right? Well, they're starting to do that, and a lot of people are appreciating it. So when it comes to the insoles overall quality, I'm definitely going with the 2025. Now it's time for the moment of truth, the back tabs, the part of the shoe that everybody loves. If you notice on these two pairs, yes, they look similar, I get it. But depending on the cut, that makes it look a little bit different on the positioning. But actually, there's a lot of slight differences. You'll notice that the 2016 pair has a lot bigger of a speckle throughout, and it feels a little bit more filled up, if that makes any sense. And you'll notice on the 2025 pair, yes, there's a ton of speckle all throughout, but it's a lot smaller of a speckle. Now, one thing that they missed on the 2016 pair that everybody loves, and it's I guess it's like a hidden fun fact or something like that these days, but basically they kept the speckle on the Nike branding as well compared to the 2016. You'll notice it doesn't have that on the Nike or the Air. This was a small detail that Jordan Brand paid attention to when it comes to recreating this original style from 1989. So again, Jordan Brand, let me give you guys a little golf clap for that one. Now, another thing to notice with the back tabs is if you look at them from my angle this way throughout the shoe, you'll see that the 2025 pair has just a slight bit more flex to it compared to the 2016. In the overall top part of it, they're both essentially sharp, so that doesn't really change. You know the Jordan 4 is always killing your Achilles if you're wearing low cut socks. You gotta rock some high cuts with these, otherwise it's gonna be a long day. But if you actually look with the light flashing through it or whatever it may be, this one's more translucent and you can actually see the 6 squares from this angle, and through here you can just barely see it. Like, it's a solid material and not that translucent looking through it. So now when it comes to the hang tags, this is another big conversation that we hear all the time. I feel like, I don't know if these are fun facts or people's memories or what other people have told them, this, that, the other. Let's go ahead and try to bust these myths real quick. And again, chime off in the comment section for me, please. But I'm gonna tell you what I think and what I know about these hang tags and which one is the correct hang tag from over the years. So let's go ahead and get into it. You'll notice on the hang tag here, you have that thicker plastic with the translucent on the outside. You have your Jumpman in the center with the Air branding below it, all orange throughout, and you can see through the letters and the Jumpman logo. This also has a chain, or whatever you'd like to call it, beaded chain. We've heard different names for that as well. But either way, this is a metal keychain that a lot of people use to add on their keys, their backpacks, whatever it may be. Now, when you look at the 2025 pair, you'll see it has the Nike Air branding, which is again back to the original. That makes sense with the overall presentation. condition. And then if you actually look at the material and everything, you'll see it's a lot thinner. You have that orange plastic, a loophole through it, but there's no chain on it. And your standard plastic connection here, like you would get on a piece of clothing with a price tag or something like that at the store. So when I saw this 2025 pair, I saw a lot of people talking about that and saying, hey, it's not like the original. It should have been like this. We need the beaded chain and this, that, the other. It's supposed to be with that hard, thick plastic like we saw from the past. And then we're seeing other people saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad they brought this back and did it true to its original form. They did an amazing job. This is how it's supposed to be. So basically we're getting like two narratives behind this. Now, what I've seen online, and just for a couple of different examples, this happened both ways back in the day. 100% not like this with the Jumpman. It was Nike Air, but they also did make this same keychain in this style back in 1989, but it was for certain colorways. So I think actually it's kind of like a correct in both ways type scenario, if you want to say that. So essentially they could have blended these two together with the Nike branding and then this overall presentation and material with the hang tag. And again, collector standpoint, people want to have this more because it's easier to just add this to your keychain. I understand, but I don't think this is wrong. If you look at this image right here with the 1989 white cement, you'll notice that it does have this same hang tag. Now, if you look at this image right here with the 1989 fire red 4s, it has this type of hang tag with the Nike Air branding on it. So essentially, I guess the answer is right and nobody's wrong, kinda ish type scenario. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And speaking of that, I think it's time to check out the poll results. Also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can see all the polls there, and then you can vote, and then I'll share the results here on the channel. So this is what the people said. 27% of the people chose the 2016 and 73% of the people chose the 2025. Now, I've heard some people still living in the past, or whatever word you want to use, but basically a lot of people are still saying that the 2016 is the best one. Now, in my opinion, if I were to rate the two, and like I've given you guys all the details throughout this whole video, I would say the 2025 is way more superior. Again, people are gonna have the arguments about the leather, and I think that might be their only thing, but overall, it's still a good leather. And if you don't want to worry about creasing or those other elements while you have the shoe on foot, the 2025 is gonna be way better for that in particular. The 2016 is gonna crease just by looking at the shoe. You have a thicker cut and better quality leather on the 2025 than the 2016, and it's more similar to the original when it comes to the look. So again, for me, I'm picking the 2025 all day. I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you have both in your collection? Which one do you like more? Unbiased opinions, biased opinions. I know we hear all the different types of opinions down below. If you guys want to see any other comparison videos like this with other models or future retros or previous retros or different ones over the past 10 years, whatever it may be, let me know. Give me some ideas down below in the comment section. I would love to see you guys' thoughts and opinions. All right, you guys, I'm out.
I would never let you down, it's in my DNA. The only choice I like to make, what I'ma wear today. I would never let you down, it's in my DNA. The only choice I